Welcome back. Let's continue our discussion on functions and linear equations. The first problem, you're given a graphical representation and you're asked to determine the rate of change. Okay? Rate of change. What is rate? Change of y over x, right? How does when x changes, y changes? That's rate, right? So there's an alternate name for rate, and that is slope. So if you determine the slope, then you're done with the problem. There's a formula for slope for some of you that are new to these concepts, and that is slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So keep in mind, there's something you can do right away is, you see the line is going, from top to bottom, right? And it's not going up, it's going down, right? That means we have a negative slope. So right away we can eliminate choice C and D. Okay, this is a negative slope. Okay, and this is a positive slope. If it's going up, it's positive. If it's going down, it's negative, right? Just think of it like a positive hill is positive slope, negative hill is negative slope, right? But the general formula for slope itself is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? So it can only be one of these two choices. So let's go ahead and write the ordered pairs first. It doesn't matter which order you write them, but it is important how you define x1 and y1. This is x1 and y1, then this is x2 and y2. You might ask, what if I had written 0 minus 1 first and then the negative 3 and 3 after? It doesn't matter. Still, you have to say whatever you're writing first, that ordered pair is x1, y1. The second is x2, y2. That means slope equals, we know y2 is negative 1. Please use brackets. I've said this multiple times. So negative 3, right? y2 minus y1. And then x2 is 0 minus, particularly for this one, you have to use brackets, minus 3. So that'll be negative 4 over 3 is negative 4 over 3. That is the slope. That's the rate. What it's saying here is, once you determine the slope, irrespective of what your y and x value is, your overall outcome is going to be same, because if a car is going at 60 miles per hour for the first hour, it's going to cover 60 miles. And if it's still going to continue at 60 miles per hour, it's going to cover 60 miles during the second lap of the journey. And during the third lap, it's going to continue to cover 60 miles and so on. So that's rate, right? That relative aspect is also known as slope. So because we've determined the slope as negative 4 over 3, whatever be the value of x and y, you're going to get the same outcome, right? What is the average rate of change for the relation shown in the table above? And this is what I was referring. You see the x and y pairs are different each time, right? It's different each time, but the slope is going to be constant for this. So irrespective of how the x and y changes, the overall outcome is going to be the same. So what is the average rate of change, which is nothing but slope, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I suggest you pick two pairs of xy. It does not matter which two pairs you pick, you're going to get the same outcome. Let me pick the two negative pair and then the two positive pairs, just to make life simple, right? So this is one pair and this is the second pair, okay? So x1, y1, x2, y2. So y2 minus y1 is 5 minus of minus 1 over x2 is 6 minus of minus 3. So that's 5 plus 1 over 6 plus 3, which is 6 over 9. This is 3 over 2. This is 3 over 2. This is 3 over 3, which is 2 over 3. That's the rate. Now, as I've said repeatedly, you may know your math, but if you're still going to rush to get the problem done quickly without properly using brackets, there's a good chance you might make a mistake, okay? And most likely there's going to be an answer choice that is going to fool you to think you got it right, okay? So please don't make the mistake of making calculation error, because that's the worst part of it, despite you've done all the work to solve the problem, right? The graph of a linear function f passes through points a, 1 and 1, b in xy plane. If the slope of the graph is 1, which of the following is true? This is a very interesting problem, right? Let's take a linear function. What's a linear function? A linear function is y equals mx plus c, okay? This is a linear function where m corresponds to the slope, right? We are told that, right? The slope is 1. So let's substitute the slope once using one set of ordered pairs and determine what this intercept c is. Once you know the intercept, then you can substitute the second ordered pair, and then collectively you will be able to determine what the correct answer is, right? So here's how you do it. So let's pick the ordered pair A1. So A corresponds to X, 1 corresponds to Y. So if you substitute this in the generic linear function, okay, Y is 1 and slope is 1 and X is A plus C is your intercept, right? So 1 equals A plus C. So C equals 1 minus A. This is important. Now we know the intercept. So let's rewrite the linear function now as y equals mx plus 1 minus a, because that's what C stands for, right? We know our slope is still 1. So m equals 1. That does not change. So y equals x plus 1 minus a. This time around, let's use the ordered pair 1, b, where 1 corresponds to x, b corresponds to y. So b equals 1 plus 1 minus a, which is b equals 2 minus a. If you add plus a on both sides, it's b plus a equals 2, or a plus b equals 2. So the correct answer is a plus b equals 2. Does that make sense? Right. What is the slope of the line that passes through the points? It's very simple. We know our slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Our ordered pairs are 3, 2 and -1, -8. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. And I highly recommend you do it this way, because as you plug in, if you just do it all in your mind and not actually do it with a paper and a pencil, you're most likely going to substitute and make a mistake. I promise. I have done that. Okay, I tried to do it before. I have done that. So at some point, you're likely going to make that mistake. Okay, a person playing with snakes for a long time eventually is going to get bit once for sure. Okay, it's bound to happen. So please don't try to do all of these calculations in your mind. You're likely going to make a mistake eventually, and that's going to cost you dearly in your points. Right. So our y2 is -8 minus, use brackets, and y1 is -2. In this case, I can use or not, it would make no difference. x2 is -1 and x1 is -3. So it's -10 over -4. So this cancels out. So this is 2 times 5. This is 2 times 2. So it's 5 over 2 is the answer. Okay. What is the value of r if the line passes through these points and has a slope? So we know slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We know our slope is -1, and we know our ordered pairs are 4, 3 and -5, r. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So that means if you put these in the slope form and equate it to the slope of -1, then you should be able to determine the value of r. So that means r minus 3 over -5 minus 4 equals -1. So r minus 3 over negative 9 equals negative 1. So r minus 3 equals 9, r equals plus 12. Okay. Very simple, isn't it? What is the value of a if the line passes through these set of ordered pairs and has a slope of negative 5 over 9? Again, it's not much different than the previous problem. So y slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's equal to negative 5 over 9. Our ordered pairs are a comma 7 and 1 comma a. So this is x1 y1. This is x2 y2. So it's a minus 7 over 1 minus a equals negative 5 over 9. So a minus, let's just cross multiply. So it's 9a minus 63, right? Equals negative 5 plus 5a. So if you bring the 5a to this side, it's 4a equals negative 5 plus 63. That is 58, right? Equals 4a, so a equals 58 over 4. I don't think it's a perfect number, if I remember right. Yeah, it's 14.5. So there's not too much takeaway in these series of problems. One thing I want you to do is never stinge out on brackets. You can always use more brackets, okay? If you're too confident that you're going to not make that mistake by not using brackets, then by all means do so. But again, eventually you will make a mistake. So there's one more problem left in it, and then we'll conclude this video. So let's go ahead and do that over here. So we have negative x plus 4y equals 6. What is the slope of the line? Which means first you have to bring x to the other side. So if you add x on both sides, it becomes 6 plus x. Now if you divide by 4 on both sides, then y equals 6 over 4 plus x over 4, right? This is same as y equals 3 over 2 plus x over 4. So slope is, this is nothing but y equals 3 over 2 plus 1 over 4 times x. So 1 over 4 corresponds to your slope. And this corresponds to your intercept. So that means the answer is 1 over 4. And here is 14.5. Right? Thank you for watching. I'll see you with another video on functions and linear equations. Until then, bye-bye.